the multicolored shorts. At the weight he scaled 8 stone 13 and 1/2 pounds, or 125 and 1/2 pounds. He has an excellent record. 18 contests, 16 wins. 12 of those wins coming by way of knockout, with only the one solitary defeat and one draw. He comes tonight to the ring rated the number 8 ranked contender in the world as recognized by the WBO. Hailing from Puerto Rico, please give a warm welcome to Victor Santiago. And opposing him, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing his by now traditional and familiar black colored shorts with a yellow trim. At the weight he scaled, on the championship limit of 9 stones exactly, or 126 pounds. He also has an excellent record. 18 contests, 16 wins. 8 of those wins coming by way of knockout, with only, once again, the solitary defeat and one draw. Tonight, he comes to the ring as the undefeated featherweight champion of Great Britain and the Commonwealth from Cambuslang in Scotland. We present to you, Scott, the real Harrison. The referee, Mr. Paul Thomas, will now give his final instructions to both boxers. This is 12 3-minute rounds for the interim WBO Featherweight Championship of the world.
Okay, I've spoken to you both in the dressing room. You know what I expect. Just one final reminder. Keep your punches on the target area. Nothing around the back of there, nothing in the kidney area. Give me a good clean contest. Touch gloves. Best of luck to both of you.
Look at the icy cold stare. Major turning point for the Glaswegian featherweight. Upper level, dipping into the fringe of world class against a Puerto Rican danger man, Victor Santiago, who has stopped 12 of his 16 victims. And although a late substitute had been in serious training due to fight in the States 2 weeks ago, he's got nothing to lose and is therefore a real live threat. But his record doesn't contain the names of anything like those on the Harrison list, and one thinks, Jim, that this cool Scotsman should be sensible enough to see this through.
Yeah, well, we know what Scott's all about. He gets everything ready. He doesn't go into any fight with a preconceived plan. So the change of opponent, although he'll be disappointed it's not a full world title fight, technically and fitness-wise, it'll be exactly the same because, as I say, he gets all the tools ready and just reacts to whatever is needed on the night.
The word on Santiago from a hazy video that we got to see was that he had a good left hook, but was quite raw and could get caught coming in. Harrison keeping his hands nice and high. Has improved, matured with every performance, this young featherweight, and is starting to really believe he's world class. And a right hand wobbles Santiago's legs. First success, Harrison. Is he punching harder as well?
He's punching harder with more confidence, but he's taking the right hand back again, so just keep showing the care he was showing in the first half minute or so. That's nice to know he's got the power to hurt this fellow.
Harrison's shot wobbled Santiago, and Santiago's didn't have the same effect on Harrison, who's got a pretty good chin. But he just must be careful. He doesn't want all these plans going out of the window. Remember, this isn't a world title fight, it's an interim. Julio Pablo Chacon holds the WBO crown, and his fractured arm put their meeting on ice.
Santiago can slip punches and come back with counters. That's a dangerous thing for Harrison, because he walks right in behind these punches. Fighters who pull back from punches that don't offer the same problems. This fellow can slip them and come back with counters.
It's a good right hand over the top, though. He avoided the jab of Santiago to get his own punches home. And he looks like he may have a leaky defense, this Puerto Rican. And look how solid Harrison's is.
We're going to see some low punches from Santiago. He dips with these shots. That was 2 in the trot there.
Good jab from Harrison. Just watching that trigger of a fast right hand from Santiago that caught him earlier on. It's a decent start from Harrison. As cool as a cucumber, as always.
Make him show us now. 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's the kind of first round you would expect from him. Thoughtful, but not lazy. Just have a look, find out what the problems are, decide on the solutions. That was a good right hand. You can see the effect it had in Santiago's legs. Recovered quickly, which is a sign of a decent chin. And it wasn't too long before he was firing back a right hand counter of his own. But that was a peach. That's just the confidence you want in the first round of such an important fight.
Harrison, who's had the year of his life. British boxing writers voted him Young Boxer of the Year. And the improving team of Peter Harrison and Billy Nelson, who are relaunching Scottish boxing here. They've had a success with Alex Arthur. Now for Scott Harrison in the black trunks, as always, with his black boots, the dour, hard-working, serious featherweight. No frills, no spills about this man. He just gets down to work. I remember you saying earlier in the week, Jim, he doesn't do anything especially well, he's just good at everything.
Yeah, that's the thing, and the pleasant surprise in the first round, the old-fashioned left-right was landing a couple of times, so this fella might not be as difficult to solve out as we first thought, but obviously we haven't seen the dangerous left hook as yet. I don't know if we want to see it.
It's Victor Santiago with absolutely nothing to lose. He's got the reach and he's swinging in punches from all angles. But will he leave himself open? Being told to keep the punches up by Paul Thomas. It's this low dipping he does, isn't it?
That's the problem for Harrison. As I say, Harrison likes to move in behind his punches, throw the punches as he moves forward. So an opponent that can slip and come back with powerful hooks, obviously going to be a big danger for Harrison. If the guy starts throwing uppercuts, if he can slip and come back with uppercuts, those will be a big danger for Harrison. But so far, no signs of alarm. Good, solid, compact look about Harrison's work.
Harrison, who's coming off a very impressive Commonwealth defence against the wild Australian Tony Weeby, which was at the Kelvin Hall. And this in the bigger arena, out by the Clyde. And that right hand, fast and furious from Santiago. He looks a bit wild himself. A wry smile from the Puerto Rican.
The thing about Harrison, 8 of his last 9 fights have been over the 12-round championship distance, although they haven't all gone that distance. But think of the time he's spent in the gymnasium, the reserves of stamina he's got to call on. If this becomes a grueling fight, I'm sure Santiago can't match that stamina.
No, Santiago's never been past 8 rounds, and really very few names on the record mean anything in this country. A lot of journeymen he's faced, but he has forced himself up to number 8 in the WBO ratings, and Sports Network do have him under a promotional contract via Showbox, but Scott Harrison is starting to pick holes in him. And Santiago has to retreat.
Good news if Harrison can keep this fellow on his back foot. Obviously, swinging punches are much more dangerous when they're coming forward.
Good jab from Santiago, and look at their menacing stare at the end of the second round. These two want this, but it's Harrison who's had the far better beginning, and it is Santiago who must do something different if he can. How good do you think he is?
He's a little bit disjointed. He's a little bit awkward, disjointed, whereas it's probably exaggerated by the fact that Harrison is so solid and compact. But I don't think he's used to this style of boxing from Harrison, coming straight in behind the straight punches. I think his previous opponents probably throw a lot more hooks. What Harrison's doing up to now is fairly simple but very, very effective, and we know he has much more in the tank. We don't know what Santiago has, but we know, and there you can see, we don't want any bad temper here. We're in a sport, but it's nice to see they're both up for it.
There's plenty of ambition because they're both 24 years of age, but the British and Commonwealth champion Scott Harrison is looking really, really strong here in the opening session, but Santiago unleashes his punches. 11 of his victims have fallen inside 3 rounds. Harrison must not lose concentration. It's crucial.
We have to remember, Scott Harrison, a very aggressive type of fighter. He's going to get at this level, he's going to take punches. That was a peach, but it didn't have the same effect as the earlier right hand. Santiago obviously warming to the task here. This is going to be a tough one for Harrison.
And getting his jab working as well. Santiago really threw everything at Harrison at the start of this round. And he has those fast, wild punches that are ramming home. Harrison needs to keep his guard tight.
This is a good spell from Santiago. Harrison, at times you feel that his head is just a little bit stationary, but he's not the type of fighter who's going to bob and weave, so he has to keep those hands up.
That's low from Santiago, but it didn't bother Harrison at all, who wants to trade with him. Is that wise? The swelling building up underneath the right eye of Scott Harrison, but that's a terrific uppercut. That was a classy shot.
See, I think Harrison's doing the right things here. He's taking chances, but you don't want this fellow to find his confidence. He's at a good start. You don't want this fellow to get confident this early in the fight.
He's steely, really, Scott Harrison. He's trying to outman Santiago in there. And this is warming up into a real thriller here in Scotland. Another cracking uppercut from Harrison, and Santiago's hurt. This is brilliant stuff from the Canvasland Featherweight, and the crowd roar their approval.
Well, this is a great turnaround in this round for Harrison, because he was heading to lose this round. To look at the way he's answered, and this is the right thing to do. I've always felt there's a natural hardness about Harrison. He doesn't have to use it too often, but it's there when he needs it, and I tell you, he's needed it in this round, because he's turned this round all the way around.
Santiago has thrown absolutely everything at Harrison, and he's just taken it and fired back. A real hardness about Harrison in and out of the ring. He's so different to Alex Arthur in every way, shape or form, and the two side by side obviously complement each other. But Santiago is not finished yet. Well, this is better than we thought it would be. Really exciting. And Santiago again wants to try and outsight Harrison. But that was a fantastic round of boxing.
That was a tremendous round. And the way Santiago came out after the first minute, I'm thinking, well, this is one round back for Santiago. He comes out, he knows he has to turn the thing around, and he set about doing that. But the way Harrison met him and answered him and come back with better. But this is the early stages. Couldn't seem to miss Harrison. Harrison seemed to be thinking too much about what he was doing and forgetting the other fellas allowed to do the odd bit as well. But he soon woke up to the problems, grit his teeth, and then just started charging forward, coming through what Santiago was throwing at him and coming back with better. That was an excellent round for both guys. On my card, Harrison come out on top. I mean, this was tremendous punching from Harrison. He's prepared to take a shot if he has to. He has that natural toughness.
You mentioned the word disjointed earlier, and that's what Santiago looks like under pressure. But he still has the power and the speed to be a threat for as long as he can stay with Harrison. Really good fight here for the interim WBO title. The winner to fight Julio Pablo Chacon. And Harrison is not letting anything bother him. Got to keep those gloves high. There's the left hook. Finally we see it.
wants to keep nice and tight, nice and controlled, and keep coming forward. You want to keep this fellow backing up. He throws wide, swinging punches. Obviously more effective if he's coming forward, getting his body weight behind him.
And this is really intense. Middle of the ring, trading between the two. Good body shot from Santiago with the left hand. Harrison, who's trained for 8 weeks. Time over in the Algarve. Running in Portugal and back here in Glasgow. He is so fit, in terrific shape as always. He does everything properly.
The thing I like, in all of the rounds we've seen, the last minute of the round, Harrison has been the boss. That is a good sign in a long championship fight.
His jab has more of a jolting effect when he uses it. That's a good right hand from Harrison. This Puerto Rican from Santa Isabel has trained hard and is desperate to win this interim title. He said Felix Tito Trinidad is his inspiration. Decked out in Puerto Rican flags and head banners all week. The team, they haven't come to lose, and you can see that in the ring.
I think the compact style that Harrison's developed, he's got an excellent style for the championship distance. Just nothing changes his mind, he just keeps drilling forward, and he's always just that little move ahead of Santiago. But the fight is as good as we hoped it would be.
Santiago being caught now with more regularity. These are solid blows from Harrison, and he's covering up well. That's a great left hook from Scott Harrison, and Santiago in serious trouble. Paul Thomas is going to stop it. Well, it's the bell went. I think that he may just have been a few punches away there from finishing the fight. Santiago was in awful trouble.
That was a tremendous left hook. Actually, I thought myself, I didn't hear the bell because of the commotion, so good refereeing from an experienced referee, Paul Thomas. Nobody heard the bell, he did, thankfully. I thought he was stopping the fight, and I don't want this fight to stop. It's a cracker. But that was a beauty. That was a beauty. The Puerto Rican himself thought he'd been stopped, I think.
Yes, he did. He was protesting because he thought that was it, but really the bell, you cannot hear yourself think in this arena tonight. A crackling atmosphere, and well, Santiago survives another round, and I'm glad he did, because this is a thriller. He's slow off his stool for the 5th round, but he's a bit shaky on his legs, Santiago, and Harrison wants to get to business straight away.
I think some experienced corner work there. They took half an hour to get out of the ring to remove the stools, just to give their man a few precious seconds to get his head clear. That's the first time I've seen Santiago wanting to clinch, so obviously he's not clear yet.
I think his legs may be starting to go, Santiago. He wants to open up on Harrison, but he's leaving himself open. Pinpoint accuracy with the right and lefts from Scott Harrison, who is out fighting his opponent tonight. He's showing this real toughness and gritty determination to succeed. He is not a man you want to meet on a dark night, Scott Harrison.
See, that's the strength and stamina that Harrison has accumulated over the last couple of years. This is where he needs it, and this is where he's bringing it out.
All the experience of those fights with Tracy Harris-Patterson and Tom Boom Boom Johnson, but Santiago comes back with a right of his own and some body shots. Have we got more drama here? This is quality.
That right hand from Santiago was bang on the button, so if Harrison can take that one, I think we're in good shape. That was a corker.
And that would have given Santiago a shade of confidence, that little bit of hope. that he can find a way back into this. Right hand low of Santiago. Harrison looking for the left hook all the time. Great defense.
I tell you, Santiago must be in terrific shape to come back from these punches. He looked out on his feet, and here, what a beautiful right hand he landed.
That's incredible, really, from Santiago as he walks into a left uppercut this time. All the punches in the book coming out from Scott Harrison. He spits defiance.
Everything Harrison does is from a real solid base. He's right there, he's in Santiago's face all night long. Again, Santiago want to clinch, and we haven't seen him clinching too often in the earlier rounds. He's feeling the pace here.
He is very tired, Santiago. Good jabs from Harrison. Can he sense now that this may be the point where Santiago starts to fold? Yet still, the Puerto Rican remains upright. What a fight! Well, we are witnessing the most exciting fight of Scott Harrison's career here. And everybody at ringside is living every moment. They've got a round 5. You see, Santiago nearly threw as many as Harrison, having almost been stopped the round before.
It's amazing. He must be in tremendous shape. We know he took this fight at short notice, but he is in the best of shape, and to recover from these shots, an excellent chin into the bargain. But Harrison just has that little extra true grit, as they call it. He's just prepared to go through the pain to gain control. And that's what he's been doing all the way through. He's always just been that little edge. In the close rounds, he's had that little edge over Santiago.
Again, they're slow to get Victor Santiago out of his corner. And now there's a tape loose on the glove, and these are the old tactics. And the crowd are booing. They don't like this. They're adding time, giving him every rest they can. It's a bit wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to their credit, I think they would be soaking him with water in there, because he's the one needing a little bit of reviving.
More of a dazed and confused look on the face of Santiago. He now knows how tough this is. What a strong obstacle he has in front of him. Harrison, who won the British title against Richie Went in the Commonwealth, with a beautiful boxing display over Patrick Mullings. And it's been the sheer grit and steely mentality that is working tonight for him. Physically, he looks supreme. Left hook was fantastic from Harrison. Santiago backpedals. Paul Thomas has to split them up because Santiago wants to hold on. Surely he's there for the taking now, Jim.
Yep, Harrison just wants to carry on doing what he's doing. What he's doing is working a treat. More chances will come because he's tired. The more tired he becomes, the more ragged he becomes. More chances will come. He doesn't have to start burning out steam, going for every single chance he sees. There it goes again. Just wants to take his time, keep controlled, exactly as he's been doing up to now.
Great uppercut again, this time from the right hand of Scott Harrison. It's been the way to beat this man to the punch. It's the extra quality as well that Harrison possesses. And I don't know how Santiago is standing up to all this. You're right, he has trained frenetically.
Yeah, he's in the best of shape. I mean, you wonder if the Chacon fight could have been any better than this. This has been a belter.
Left hook again. Santiago's legs wobble, trying to wing in shots of his own, but Harrison may well be on the verge of a stoppage defeat. pinned against his own corner now. Santiago. He's shipping a lot of these. That was a cracker. That's all that Paul Thomas wants to see. It is the win of Scott Harrison's career. It was a fantastic battle against a man that had come to win. Victor Santiago, brave and determined, but Scott Harrison, brilliant, strong, and he just would not be beaten tonight. Terrific performance, and how his Scottish faithful love it. What a heart Scott Harrison possesses, and well, are Nassim Hamid and Michael Brodie watching this?
Well, I've always said Harrison has that little bit of strength and grit that some of the other featherweights domestically don't have. At world level they don't have as well. That was a tremendous performance, and it's good to get a fight like that behind you. Big disappointment he wasn't actually boxing for the World Championship tonight. But if he had any doubts in his mind how he was going to cope at world level, then they'll be dispelled tonight after a performance like that, because this little fellow Santiago, he was world class. He put up a world class performance, world class resistance. That was an excellent performance from Scott Harrison, start to finish.
It was a gamble, and a gamble that paid off, because Scott Harrison is world class.
Well, everything Harrison did as the fight was wearing on was working. Santiago was coming back with good shots of his own, but he was becoming tired. The more tired, the more ragged he was becoming. But he was taking these shots, and you can see him just a little bit shaky. This is, I mean, at the end up, he could possibly have continued, but what was the point? It was no longer competitive. He was getting punched out of there, taking shots, no chance of getting himself back into the fight, and I think the referee timed it perfectly. Head was rolling, not in a position to throw punches back. So referee, as I say, picked the perfect time to call it off.
The same expression on the Scott Harrison face from start to finish. This is a man that loves winning, and he is going to go places, the Cambuslang featherweight.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 minutes and 22 seconds of round number 6, referee Paul Thomas has stopped the contest. In his opinion, Santiago was in no position to continue. Your winner and the interim WBO featherweight champion of the world from Cambuslang in Scotland. He has proved himself the real Scott Harrison.
Been making good strides. This is the biggest one so far, and he is now in world class. What a performance. Still to come from Glasgow, some of the best of the undercard action, some quite spectacular finishes there earlier in the evening, and then we'll bring you one of the most talked about fights in the world this year, the recent matchup between Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward at light welterweight. Barry, your thoughts on Harrison's display tonight?
That was a mesmerising performance, because he fought a very dangerous live puncher from Puerto Rico who was a really tough contender, and he dealt with him with great fashion.
We'll get your views on the technical merits of the display shortly, Barry. He's waiting to speak to Adam.
Well, Scott, you'll be very pleased to know that Barry McGuigan in the studio has just called it a mesmerising performance. Victory of your career?
I'll have to go and see the tape as usual, but it felt like a victory in my career. If Barry says that, well, it must be right now.
Come on, Scott, you've got to be happy with that. At least you can smile, can't you?
I'm very happy. I'm going for a pint of Guinness later on.
It was a great fight as well, wasn't it? I mean, this Santiago was dangerous, and he'd come to win.
Santiago had a crying jab, fast right hand, he tried to count him over the top with right hand. That crying chin is very fit and strong. It was a good fight for the Scottish public.
But there was no stopping you, was there? There's a steely determination in you, Scott, isn't there?
See, that's what I said at the press conference all the week. I need to be world champion.
And eventually, you just found the shots to let Paul Thomas come and stop it.
What I was trying to do is just keep piling on the pressure, and eventually just put him out.
I mean, disappointed it wasn't for the world title, but now you go ahead and fight Julio Pablo Chacon.
If I've got to win it twice to win it, well, so be it. I'm just trying to put on a good show for the crowd and be world champion and just keep defending.
Well, let's
make money.
Let's hope we get it on in September. Well done, Scott Harrison, tonight. Fantastic performance.
Thanks a lot.